What's up, guys? Andrew here back at you, this time with a new movie review. I'm going to talk to Killer's Game next on Drew Reviews. What's up, guys? I'm Andrew, and on this channel, I usually don't review new movies. Me and Kenny just recently did Alien Romulus, and that was what it was. But, I usually stick to the old action movies, old sci-fi movies. But today, I'm going to cover Batista's The Killer's Game. I saw the trailer for this a couple of weeks ago, and I've always been kind of a fan of Dave Batista, even, back to his wrestling days. He was always kind of charismatic for such a low-key guy. And I've really enjoyed a lot of things he's done in his acting career. Army of the Dead, say what you want about it. It is kind of long and a little bit slow, but I really like his character in that, and I like that movie a lot. So, yeah, this movie here I was looking forward to. Before I get into the review, guys, I am going to include spoilers in this. That's just how I review things. So if you're waiting to go see this movie, you might avoid this review until after the fact. Basically, in this movie, you've got Dave Batista as Joe Flood, and he's a hitman. He works for Ben Kingsley's character, and he basically takes out the trash in Eastern Europe. And he falls in love with Sofia Boutella's character of Maisie, and they have a really quick romance, fall head over heels for each other. But he does not tell her his secret of what he does for a living for fear that she might reject him. And in the meantime, he's also getting these headaches all the time, this blurred vision. He goes to the doctor, and he finds out that he's got this terminal disease. I can't remember what it's called, CJB or something. And he's basically going to lose all motor function, go blind, and this thing's going to take over his life and slowly kill him. So he ends up taking a hit out on himself. And of course, the guy he works for won't do it, Ben Kingsley. And so he goes to his archenemy. And he's like, hey, $2 million, send your best henchman, get the job done clean. And so all these guys start coming after him. He ends up breaking up with Maisie. He's going to give her all of his money that he's made. And in an interesting twist, it turns out they got the sample switched in the lab. He's not really got this CJB or whatever it's called. And they're like, hey, Joe, you might want to sue these guys. Right as the countdown clock starts, right at midnight. And all these hitmen come in to get him to collect the bounty. This movie was a lot of fun, just like I thought it would be. Back in 2020, I was going to Slovakia on a missions trip. I had my passport and everything, the money raised. And of course, we all know what happened in 2020. COVID ruined life for everybody. So I didn't get to see it. Man, after seeing this, I just love it. And I want to see that part of the world. I really enjoyed his love interest in this movie, Sofia Boutella as Maisie. Her and Batista have a really good chemistry. They hit it off right away. And I love the transitions in this movie. While he's taking people out, it will transition to her and him in love. So, it's killing two birds with one stone. At one point, he's garroting a guy. And as he's choking him out, the guy kicks over a bottle of wine, and it goes to this angle. Well, then it morphs into him holding a bottle and pouring wine for them on a date. And there was a lot of instances of that in that sequence. Those shots were really imaginative, and I appreciated those. Terry Crews in this movie plays a bad guy. We're used to Terry talking in the third person in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And so it's great to see him just not giving a crap about anything and coming after Joe. Just refreshing for that actor. The characters that come after him to collect the bounty are really colorful. You've got this Asian group that comes, and I love the way he disposes of them. The two guys on the bikes. But my favorite are the two brothers, played by Scott Adkins and Drew McIntyre from the WWE. You all know how I like Scott Adkins on this channel and how I think he'd be a very good low-key James Bond candidate. But yeah, him and McIntyre in this are great. And I love the fact that their Scottish accent is so bad that they have to subtitle it. But what they're saying does not match the subtitles. And it was really humorous. And for the most part, the humor in this movie was great. It was right on. The fights that he has with them there in that castle is great. This one point, McIntyre gets blown up, and I think he gets impaled on a rhino that's mounted on the wall. It's like, mess with the bull, get the horns. That was the best one-liner, harkening back to the days of Arnold. He doesn't quite have Arnold's charisma, Dave Batista, but it's somewhere in that realm. But yeah, some good fighting by Scott Adkins, who I loved, and those characters were great. But speaking of those guys in the comedy, one of my favorite scenes in this movie, they find out they both got secrets. You know, he finally comes clean about what he does for a living. And then Maisie tells him that, hey, she's with his child. So they end up going and finding a priest at this old Catholic church. And of course, before he'll marry them, he wants Joe to take confession. And to me, this is one of the best scenes in the movie. There's this priest on one side and Batista on the other side. And this hitman is giving confession. And so during his confession, he's like, yeah, so I garroted a guy in Prague, walked up right behind him, shot a guy point blank in Zurich, or, you know, whatever. I was howling that entire time. It was really good. And just the look on the father's face was great. Was there some bad in this movie? Yeah. Mostly the CGI. They use CGI blood for everything. And so anytime there's a fight and somebody's getting hit, there's blood flying, and it looks fake, of course. It's got to be way more cost effective than using actual blood packets and squibs. But it also takes away and cheapens the movie for me just a little bit. And they use it in times where they shouldn't. There's these two assassin girls, and one of them, like, castrates a guy, and blood's just going everywhere. It's like, I don't think that would happen. I don't want to find out. But, yeah, it's used too much, and nobody's bloody after they just decimate someone. So that was definitely a negative. The other thing is they have so much to set up, you know, with him and the love story, and then him and his affliction, that it seems like there's not enough action in that first act and a half. But once the action does pick up, you know, midway through the second act, it doesn't let up off the gas. So I did like that. But for somebody with a short attention span, I could see them kind of being bored with the first part of it. But overall, did I enjoy the Killer's Game? Yeah. It was about what I expected. Probably just a little bit better than what I expected. My wife went with me, and she liked it probably even more than I did. I'm a little bit more harsh on things than she is from a critical standpoint. But yeah, it's good for an action guy like me or just a casual like her. Just don't go into it expecting anything too groundbreaking, and I think you'll be all right. And coming off that, I just listened to an interview with Batista on Chris Van Vliet when they were doing the press junket for this thing. And it was a really good interview. You know, if you like Batista, I'd suggest you to check it out. But he was talking about how he would like this to kind of be his John Wick or his franchise. And I just don't know if there's enough there. I like the universe it's in, but I don't think it's going to be nearly as successful as he was hoping. I know on IMDb this is a 5.9. I'm going to go quite a bit higher than that. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. But I also just don't see this being a franchise. I see it being more of a one-off. But saying that, I did have a lot of fun with it. No place real local was showing it. I had to drive close to an hour away to see this thing. And I don't know if I'd recommend it, you know, if somebody had to do that. When this comes out on streaming, I recommend everybody see it because it was a lot of fun. So guys, up next I have Silent Rage with Chuck Norris coming. A little down and dirty little action exploitation flick from the early 80s. That was fun. And I know I've been promising Tremors for the last couple of reviews, and this kind of came in because I wanted to see this and review it. So, you know, I'm not ignoring you guys. I know a couple of you have been clamoring for that. So that is coming down the line after Silent Rage, hopefully. So be on the lookout for that. Guys, if you like what you see on this channel, be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, I'm Andrew, and I'll see you down the line.